So there is this question under amortization. Okay, so amortization is just a process of paying off a debt at a regular interval. So you are paying off a debt at a regular interval. Maybe you got a loan, then you are paying every month or every 3 months or every 6 months for a certain period of time. So that's amortization. So let's read this question to see and see what it's saying. So they are saying establish a loan amortization schedule for a 24-month loan of 20,000 with equal installment payments at the end of every 3 months. So the interest rate is 2% per month. Okay, so they want us to come up with the amortization schedule when payments are made after every 3 months. Okay, so now for coming up with the amortization schedule, the first thing that we are supposed to do, it is to find what we call periodic payment of the amortization schedule. In short, how much are we going to be paying each 3 months? Since we are going to be paying every 3 months, so we have to find how much we'll be paying every 3 months. Okay, so the formula for periodic payment is given by periodic payment. So periodic payment, it's given by principal times I over 1 minus 1 plus I to the power negative n. So this is the formula for periodic payment, where P is standing for the principal, I is the interest for each period, then n is just the total number of compounding periods for the entire duration. Okay, so now from the question that you have been given, we can come up with I. So I is given by I is equal to R over M. R stands for the annual interest rate, while M stands for the number of compounding period in a single year. How many times are you making your payments in 1 year? That's what M stands for. So in this case, we have seen that the percent that we have been given is per month. Now we can convert it to R to find how much per year. So we can multiply 2 times 12, which is going to give us 24. So our R, we are saying, if I was to write somewhere here, I can say R is 2% times 12 months, which is going to give us 24% per year. Okay, so here where there's R, we can put 24% in terms of decimal points. It's the same as 0.24. We are dividing by M. M is the number of times you are making payments in a single year. So since we are paying every 3 months, that's like quarterly. So our M is 4. So if we divide 24 by 4, it's giving us 0.06 as our I. Okay. Then for N, N is given by MT. So M, we know it's 4. Then time, since the period is 24 months, that's like 2 years in terms, because T is in years. So 4 times 2, it's giving us 8. So our N is 8. So having N and I, we can proceed to the formula to find our periodic payment. How much are we going to be paying each 3 months? Okay, so P stands for the principal. Our loan amount is 20,000. Then our I, we have found 0.06. We are dividing with 1 plus I 0.06 to the power negative 8. Okay, so after we do that, then we can punch what we have. Okay, so I have 20,000 this side, then times what's on top is 0.06. So when I say 1 plus this, it's giving me 1.06 to the power negative 8. Then the answer that I get, I subtract from 1, it's giving me 0.372587628. Okay, so that's the answer that we are getting. So when I divide this side and I multiply by 20,000, it's giving me 3,220.72. So this is what we call the periodic payment. So every 3 months, this is the amount that we are going to be paying. So So we are going to be paying 3,072. So that's the first step. First step, find the periodic payment. Then step number 2, we can now come up with the table because they want us to do the amortization schedule. Okay, so the amortization schedule, it is just a table like this one, which has 5 columns. So it has the payment number, the amount of payment or the periodic payment, then the interest for each period, how much interest for each period, and also the portion which is applied to the principal, and the principal at the end of each period. So we have the principal at the end of each period, portion to the principal, interest for the period, amount of payment, and the payment number. So those are the things that we have on the periodic payment. So the amount of payment is the same one that we found here. It's the one that we are going to be paying each period. Now, how do you know the number of periods that are there? It's about the value of n. We said our n is 8, so in 2 years we are going to make 8 payments, because we said we are paying 3 times, every 3 months, meaning in a year we'll make 4 times payments. In 2 years it's going to be 8 payments, so our payment number, they will go up to 8. Okay, then for the payment amount, we are getting the same one that we have. So what is there? We have so for year 0 we are not paying anything, but starting from year 1 we have 3 to 2.72, even year 2 the same, year 3 the same. These are not years, they are just payment number. So payment number 4, the same thing. Payment number 5, the same thing. Payment number 6, the same thing. And also payment number 7, the same thing. But for the last payment, payment number 8, you don't put anything. So payment number 8 differs. Sometimes it differs, but sometimes it can be the same, so you don't put. You find it at the end when you're done with everything this side. So payment, amount of payment, here we are just putting the periodic payment, what you are going to be paying each 3 months. Okay, then now we have this part which we are calling interest for the period. Okay, so maybe before I talk about the interest for the period, let me just talk about something. I give you a bit of understanding about amortization. So the way amortization works, we can assume, let's say you got a loan of 100,000. Okay, so you got a loan of 100,000. Okay, then from this 100,000, the way we pay, maybe they charge you to say the interest rate is 10%. Okay, let me just say maybe the interest rate is 12%. Then when you do that, you find that what you are supposed to pay as your interest is 12,000, because 12% of 100 pin is giving us 12,000. So now when returning the loan, the way we pay, we are going to be separating the amounts that you are paying. Let's say maybe each month you are paying 1-2. Let's assume each month you are paying a 1-2. So this 1-2 is what we call periodic payment. So each month you are paying a 1-2, we call it periodic payment. Then from the 1-2, the way we are going to be paying, we'll separate this 1-2. We'll say the 200, it's going to be paying the interest each month. Then the 1 pin will be paying the amount that you got here. So yeah, the 1 pin is going to be paying the amount that you got. So that's how it is. So the periodic payment is divided into 2 things: the amount that you will pay the interest and the amount that you will pay the loan amount that you got. So we call this one portion to the principal. So this is what we call the portion to the principal. Then this one is just the interest for each period. Periodic payment, this one, your principal is what you got. Okay, so we can now go to our table. We are on this part where we want to come up with the interest for the period. So of course, period 0, we don't have anything, so we'll just put a dash here, there's nothing. Then for number 1, how do we find the interest? So we use the formula for simple interest. to come up with the interest for the period. So amount applied to the principal in year 0, we don't have anything, okay? But for the principal at the end of the period in year 0 is the ngongole that you have. How much do you want to repay? So we have 20,000 that we want to pay back. So that's the principal that we have at the end of year 0. Okay, so now let's find the interest for the period for period 1. So I was saying the interest is simple. We just use the formula for simple interest. So interest is PRT. So what's our principal? We have 20,000. So we put 20,000 times what's our rate? So our rate per year we said is 24%, which is the same as 0.24. Then what about time? So time is supposed to be in years. So this interest, it's for how long? For each 3 months, because we are making payments every 3 months. So time, we will say it is 3 months. Then we divide by 12 because we want to convert it into a year. So when you punch everything here, you'll find that it's giving you 1,200 kwacha as your interest. Okay. So our interest is 1,200 kwacha. So we can put here on the part for the interest. So interest for period 1, we have 1,200 kwacha. So I'll put it here, 1,200 kwacha. All right. What about the portion to the principal? How do we find the amount that will be subtracted from the principal? How do we find? So since we know the periodic payment, like each month we are paying this, and this 1.2 is going to go for the interest. So we'll just say this minus this to find what will go for the principal. So when I say 3,220.72 minus 12, it's giving me 2,020.72. So this amount is what will be subtracted from the principal, the 20p. Okay, so this will be subtracted from the principal. This is going to the interest. So here I can say 20p minus this. So by the end of period 1, the Kongole has now reduced to 17,979.28 because we have made a payment of this for the principal. Okay, so now we go to the second period. So the second period we are doing the same. We need to find the principal here. I mean, we need to find the interest for period 2. So interest here, we are using the same formula where we said interest is PRT. So now this interest is for each period. So for period 2, what's our principal? So when period 2 is beginning, our ngongole is this. So where there is P, we'll put this. Our rate, it's let me just show this one also. So for period 2, I'm saying coming up with the interest, we know it's PRT. What's our principal? This is what we have in period 2, 17,979.28. We are multiplying it with the rate, which is 24%, same as 0.24, then times 3/12 as the time. So when I punch, it's giving me 1,078.76 as my interest. So 1,078.76. Okay, to find the portion applied to the principal, I'll say periodic payment minus the amount that is going to go to the interest. So when I subtract, it's giving me 2,141.96. Finding this one here, we are just subtracting this principal minus what we pay. So by the end of year 2, the ngongole is reducing. It's going to 15,837.32. Okay, so we keep on doing the same. Even for year 3, we find our interest using PRT. What's our principal? We use this one. What's our rate? 0.24 times 3/12, because each period is going for 3 months, so time will just be 3/12. What will be changing is the principal, because each period you have a different ngongole or the principal, because it has kept on reducing because we are paying a certain percent. So when I use the formula for simple interest in period 3, what I'm finding is 950.24. Okay, then I'll say the periodic payment minus what's going to the interest. I'm remaining with 2270.48. Okay, then from my principal I subtract this. How much will remain as ngongore by the third? So I'll remain with this. Okay, so if you want, you can pause the video, you try to do the same, finish up here. So for me, I'm going to pause so that I finish, but what I'm interested in is to show you how to do the last one. How do we do the last one, because it differs with the way we are doing here. So let me pause, I just finish first, then I show you for the last one. Okay, so now for the last payment, which is period number 8, when you want to clear your entire loan, because in here we said we are going to clear our loan after 8 payments, of which 8 payment is after 24 months. So meaning here the principal at the end of the period we are going to put 0, because we don't want to remain with any ngongore. So at the end of period 8, what we are going to have, it's 0, no ngongore. Then the portion to the principal, how much are we going to pay to the principal? This same amount, we are going to pay all of it. So you put it here, 3038.41. Then the interest for the period, so this one we calculate using the same formula, PRT, of which we are using this as our principal. So when I do that, it's giving me 182.30. So now finding the periodic payment here, we just add this plus this. Okay, so we are just adding these two, and when we add, it's giving us 3,220.71. so that's how it's done. So the final payment, it always differs. You start from this side, go in here, portion should be 0. This you bring here, you find this, then you add these two to get this one. Okay.